In the year 2002, I was introduced to the congregation of the Sisters of Nazareth when one of the Samoan sisters came over and gave our little group of girls a vocation talk. That vocational talk, something stirred it within me, but I ignored it and got on with my life. I had everything I wanted in life. I had a job, a supportive family, a group of friends, and in a very steady relationship. However, despite having all those in life, something was still missing. There was a void in me that I couldn't explain. A decade later, while in the church, one of the Nazareth sisters came by. I felt that that was the answer to all my prayers, that God answered my prayers and telling me that this is what He wanted me to do. It was just a casual talk, however, that leads to a bigger picture of me being a religious sister. The vocation sister invited me to Australia for the Come and See program, where I lived with the sisters, prayed and worked with them for a month. During this time, I felt that this was what the Lord was calling me to do. I was still a bit reluctant. I returned to Samoa. I prayed about it and decided that the only way I would have a peace of mind was to give it a go. So I made an application to join the pre-novitiate in Australia. 6 months later, I applied to join the international novitiate here in Hammersmith. Well, the first reaction was they were very shocked. My family, my friends were very shocked. They never thought that I would have thought about being a religious sister. However, they saw a change in me after returning home from the Come and See that I didn't even know. They saw that I was actually committed to what I was doing, like attending church regularly, and there was a change in me that my family thought that this might be the choice that I wanted to do. They were very supportive, and when they came back to their senses and let me go to fulfill what I wanted to do. And they thought that this is God's calling for me, so they were happy with me. But at the same time, they were all worried that I was going away, like having to sacrifice, the big sacrifice of leaving them behind. Some of my friends weren't really supportive with my decision. They thought that I can do something better with my life other than being a religious sister. And they thought that I'm not suitable for such a life. After entering into the pre-novitiate in Australia, I saw a great transformation of myself. Introducing to a religious way of life was different. I thank God every time for the gift of adjusting well, and I was able to adjust to the religious lifestyle of having quiet, being silent was the first. It was the first difficulty I felt, because I was so used to a bubbly world, and talking was my favorite thing to do. However, with being introduced to having silence in your life, that was one of the main things that I knew I developed. I thought it was hard at first place, but it's having that understanding that this is the only way that God can communicate back to you, was having a silent and quiet moment just to hear Him talking to you. I was very happy despite the challenges. 6 months later into my pre-novitiate journey, I was very privileged to go back to Samoa for my first holiday since I entered. And to my dismay, they were very happy with me. They saw this change in me and they saw how happy I was. And with all the stories that I told them of my life in the pre-novitiate, They were all satisfied and they knew that this was for me. I was very nervous. Like when we were in the pre-novitiate, there was only a few of us. But coming over to Hammersmith and living in the community with other girls, other novices from different countries, it was a different experience, and it was my first time to experience living together with people from other than the Pacific itself, where I'm from. And I feel like it depends on how you see things in novitiate and how you value the gift of each other. Like, we are being gifted to come together, and to give something back to the congregation is to giving myself completely to the congregation, and to be loyal to our own constitutions, and like my way of life should portray my actions, not just by words. And I would love to see that the congregation continues to flourish into the future and have that sense of unity within each and every one of us, and to be able to foster this house of love, and for the needy to be able to share whatever we have with the less fortunate, and to always have an open arm and a lending hand and a supporting shoulder for anyone who needs help. It's the only contribution to give to people who are needy at any time, and at any stages of the journey.